Manufacturers are finally recognizing the critical importance of a street truck. Not a Raptor that's lifted for 4x4 use, but something that's more geared for on-road use. This is the Ford F-150 Lobo. It's sitting at the bottom of all of the F-150 trims, but it's offering V8 power and a lot of interesting looks, borrowed from custom street culture that you'll find all over across the United States. But finally, it's on a stock pickup truck, and it's one of the more affordable F-Series that you can buy. The F-150 has been new in this generation since 2021. It's been the best-selling truck in America for almost 50 years. Now at CarGurus, we've already reviewed the Tremor, the Lightning, the Raptor, and hybrid versions of this F-150. And now we've got the new Lobo, which is promising some street truck performance. With the F-150, you get a choice of 3 cab styles: regular, super cab, or super crew, like this one, or you get 3 beds, combination of all of them, depending on each of those 8 trims. 5.5, which this one is, the 6.5, or a full 8-foot, which is only available with that regular cab configuration. Now on here, the Lobo package is actually a package. It's not truly a trim. What it does, it drops the rear suspension 2 inches, which is actually a pretty cool feature. So it does ride a bit lower. It doesn't squat, but you notice it, especially on these black 22-inch wheels. All-season Bridgestones too, so they're definitely not all-terrains or mud terrains going on here, certainly for more on-road performance, but they're not summer tires, and Ford doesn't offer that. However, when you look at the truck, it's really nice. There's 10 different pieces of ground effects from the front to the back to the side, and the back also has black exhaust tips, which you can see prominently here through the bumper. Else, it's a regular F-150, but you notice from the front with that new grille, it has a new dashed LED accent lighting effect that no other F-150 trim has, including the Raptor. So I think it really does look cool. It looks lower, even though it's only lower in the rear. I just like the way it looks. I think it's gonna be a real good hit for Ford. There's also black badging throughout and an enlarged hood that's bigger. It's a big cowled hood, as Ford calls it. I, however, wouldn't choose this white. I think it looks too close to a commercial truck, all the work trucks that are out there that are base models. This one really deserves to be an all black, which looks pretty sinister, or a darker blue. The F-150 Lobo is meant to be the affordable F-150, so that means a urethane steering wheel, not leather wrapped. Got an actual key that you gotta twist, kind of nice and old school. Manual cloth seats, no heating, not even automatic climate control. So a lot of luxuries, well, I don't even consider having a mirror luxury, but that's gone from this trim as well. But skimping on features doesn't mean the design or the materials feel cheap. It's pretty good inside here. Lots of chunky analog controls. The 12-inch touchscreen is neatly integrated into the dash. And there's also a fold-down work surface. It would still be nice to have more amenities for over $60,000, but considering this is based on the STX, which is just one up from the bottom, it's not all that bad. This isn't a king ranch, but the F-150 Lobo still provides kingly levels of legroom and headroom, especially because you cannot get a panoramic moonroof or a sunroof. So tons of space back here. No amenities aside from USB-C ports. It's nice to have this 400-watt plug. I like that. That's also part of an optional package, and rear air vents. Maximum towing on a new F-150 is up to 13,500 pounds and payload just over 2,400 pounds. Now on this Lobo, it's under 8,000 pounds towing and just over 1,400 pounds of payload. So not all that much, but again, you're paying for the performance, not so much for the hauling. Now on this truck, even though it has the optional spray-in bed liner, you're gonna have to get an optional damp tailgate because this really closes old school. It's heavy, you really gotta watch out for that. It does have a 400-watt inverter on board, so there's a plug in the cabin and one right over here in the bed. That is useful, but there's no power or even sliding glass rear window, and a lot of other options are not even available on this trim. Sure sounds good. That's that big 5-liter V8. Normal aspiration, no turbo, no supercharger, no electrification, just 400 horsepower and a little over 400 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's been a long time since I drove an F-150 with the V8. That's because Ford for so long has promoting the EcoBoost V6 and of course the upper versions of that in the Raptor. And I almost forgot that they made this thing because most of the engines on the F-150, and there's 6 powertrains in total, are all turbo V6 engines plus hybrid options. And it sounds good, I will say that. But the response, I don't think it works so well. I really don't. I think the reason has to do with the 10-speed automatic transmission. I feel, based on my testing experience, that Ford optimized that transmission, which was co-developed with GM, by the way, to its turbocharged 6-cylinder engines. In the V8, it just kind of feels a little lost. It's got to hunt down a lot. Mid-range is good, but you really have to dip into the throttle even in sport mode. And I mentioned sport mode because this is the Lobo. It's coming only with the V8. And Ford advertises this as their performance street truck. Not a Raptor, but the more affordable everyday truck, because this is based on the STX. But in truth, there's no change to the calibration. There is not even a louder exhaust, which it sounds loud enough, but most of it's coming from under the hood here, which is nice. Nice sounds, not complaining at all, I love it. But for a truck that's supposed to be built on performance, yeah, we got the V8, but it kind of feels laggardly. Again, I think it has to do with this transmission itself paired with this engine, and just the fact that there's no special driving mode. Like, the response is good. I mean, the V8 sounds great. Just leave it there. But I think I'm getting too used to, as probably a lot of truck buyers are, turbochargers. Just fills in a torque gap. But this engine shouldn't have that issue. I really think it boils down to the transmission's gearing. It's not optimized for this engine. And even though the Lobo has a shorter rear end, so it's a 373 axle versus a lot of the 355s that you'll typically get, that should help, but it really doesn't. And so driving it, it's not like I'm expecting this to be a V8 Raptor. Not the Raptor R, but a regular V8 Raptor. It's not that. It's just, I would like 20 to 30% more with how they're fitting this truck, because it just feels like a regular F-150 V8. And that's nice, but it looks way more special than it actually drives. Like, it's just lazy. Yeah, it sounds great, it does, but I don't know, I hate the throttle calibration here, and that's an easy software fix. I don't want it to be jumpy, but in sport mode, the Lobo just, it's not Loboing enough. It's not. It's low-balling me, that's what it's doing. Yeah, and there's just, the exhaust could be more open. I'm feeling the back pressure there. These are small fixes, and I think Ford's gonna have to notch this up. I think it was fine when it just came out, but now that Ram has the Rumblebee, and even in its base form, they've changed that truck a lot, from the frame to the suspension, and unfortunately, I think as it stands, this isn't enough. It's just not. It makes me just want to have a regular twin turbo 6 in my F-150, and I just don't want this. But I've complained a lot, and what I'll say is that the ride is good, and steering generally okay. You know, it's not all that perfect. Kind of sloppy off center. Again, could be tuned a little bit better, considering that this is a sportier truck. There's just small tweaks that I think Ford could do. But driving this, again, quiet on the highway, rides well. And I like the interior of these F-150s, I do. It's easy to see out of, the seats are comfortable, and even though I don't have a lot of creature comforts as standard, or even optional, it's good in here, it is. So every single day, that's why these trucks keep selling. Like, they're the best selling truck in America for almost 50 years now, and this is why. You can get them in so many different configurations. The Lobo, I think, is a great idea, and they're just gonna have to push it a little further, 20, 30%. Spend a little bit more developing this. Let's see some of these calibration changes. Let's see some extra enhancements to go beyond just the ground effects, because I think they have a really good platform here. They really do. Body control is good on every single F-150, so no problems there. Great chassis, and I think the brakes are also good. Again, no upgrades. Helps keep the cost down. But what am I gonna say? Ford, you can do more, you know you can. The F-150 Lobo has this 12-inch screen. It's more of a square setup. I like it. It's neatly integrated into the dash, easy to use. a lot quicker than what you'll find on, say, the big portrait touchscreen on the F-150 Lightning. It runs quicker too. Now this one doesn't have nearly as many features because you can't do that, but what it does have, it has the zone lighting feature that Ford is really good at, so you can adjust lighting on different sides of the truck when the truck is off. Really nice, I always like that. Towing, all that good stuff, CarPlay, and of course you can also adjust this. You would think that you should be able to swipe this. You can't, you gotta use these buttons here. So that's a little bit of a misstep in my opinion. They could change that too with the software update, but it's got over-the-air software updates and manual controls in so many other ways. Volume, tuning, seeking, climate controls, four-wheel drive, so many other things you can't even see here. It's simple to use, simple to operate every day, and that's why I do like this interior a lot. The F-150 has this really good digital instrument panel, and by really good, just means it's simple to use. You know, the graphics are really large, they're crisp, minimal things you need to even see, which I also like. They keep it simple, buttons on the steering wheel here, and changing the drive modes. You get some nice graphics here, you can see everything that's happening. Who wants to be in normal mode, right? Not with a truck like this, but sometimes you have to. And I think that's all right. And the graphics are good, they look clear. And despite this being digital, yes, there's no full screen maps, there should be. But again, you can see more information if you want, such as here. So a lot of good stuff to be found. The 2026 Ford F-150 starts at $42,000. There's 8 trims. This one, the Lobo, which is really an STX with the Lobo package, with a couple options, $62,000. Direct competitors include the Ram 1500 Rumblebee and some special packages of the Chevy Silverado 1500, especially the RST trim. If you want performance in a street truck that's stock, the F-150 Lobo is lacking. Yes, it's got that 5-liter V8, but it doesn't pair well with the transmission. There's no specific tunes involved or special exhaust. The look, though, is really where it's at. I think they've nailed this design, but considering that Ram is coming out with the Rumblebee, Ford has to step up its game. And particularly speaking, there's not a whole lot of features and content that you're getting at $62,000 as tested, but again, that's where the truck market has gone for years. All the prices are going up, but it makes me wonder, where are we going next? I don't know if I can afford, or can you afford any of these trucks? Let us know in the comments. Go to CarGurus.com and keep watching all of our truck reviews. We've got them on YouTube, so subscribe, and we'll see you next time.